The way you know you've created an iconic look is that people wear it on Halloween. It becomes a Halloween costume. Hey, what's up? It's me, image architect Law Roach, and we're going to go behind the scenes with Who, What, Where. Ari was so excited, and she looked so beautiful that night. I remember just her being nervous and excited all at the same time, which everyone is when you go to the Met. It's a lot of cameras. The thing about the Met is that all the nerves and everything is just getting there. And once you're there and you walk up the stairs and you go into the actual ceremony, it's over so fast. But just the anxiety of getting ready and then making sure and being on time is the stressful part. I love when I get opportunity to be a part of someone's first, because I think that's a memory that no one will forget. And then Ariana is so iconic. We'll revisit that look for years and years and years. There'll be a retrospective of her career and her life, and you'll see that dress and other dresses and maybe some ponytails, you know. I always tell her, like, I feel like her ponytail should be in the Smithsonian. The theme for that year was camp. What's more campier than a Disney film? But it was a real story in that sometimes the dad calls me her fairy godbrother or godmother, depending on how I'm acting that day. The story was that she was leaving Disney, and this was before Euphoria premiered, and so it was kind of her not shedding her Disney image, but just moving into more of her, because you know, Rue is totally different from KC. Like way, way different from KC. And so that was to pay homage to her career as this Disney princess. We knew when Euphoria premiered that people would get to see a whole nother side of Zendaya, the actress. And a lot of people didn't see this, but she actually lost her glass slipper at the top of the stairs. So that was like the final hurrah and paying homage to Disney, which gave her the start of her career. So this, I'm really proud to say, this was actually one of the first viral fashion moments. I got a call from my manager at the time, really casually. She said, "Oh, Celine's team called and she wants to meet you." You know, I was like, "Celine who?" Like, Celine Dion. I said, "Who?" She said, "Celine Dion, fool." So I went to the Billboard Awards and to meet her. I waited for her in her dressing room. She came in the dressing room and she said, "I've been following your career because my kids watch Casey Undercover and you dressed Casey." What that outfit and that image did was disrupted the way people think about and thought about Celine. Like, we were used to this very glamorous beads and sequins and rhinestones and the voice and the personification of the diva, and to see her in streetwear, and she was wearing this Vetements tribute, Titanic tribute sweatshirt and just some jeans and a sandal and a bag. And I think that it really kind of messed people up. It's like, oh wait, like Celine Dion's a real person, you know. I did it because Celine Dion is one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life. And her knowledge of fashion and construction and couture and designers is so vast, and I learned so much from working with her. And when I found out who she really was on the inside, not the image that we had all created of her on the outside, I'm like, of course you would want to wear this sweater. Of course. Kerry Washington at the Vanity Fair party, she was wearing Zuhair Murad couture. I love this collection. The collection was based on Egypt and Egyptian goddesses. And when I think of Kerry, I think of her in that way. When I saw it, I just thought it was so amazing. It was encrusted, and it just made me feel like this is something that Cleopatra would have worn. There was a little pushback because I think someone else said that it's too costumey, but I'm like, it's a moment, you know what I mean? Like, and don't let other people's fears or, you know, or something that makes someone else uncomfortable, don't let them project that onto you. She ended up wearing it, and she called me the next day. She was like, "You were right." She's like, as soon as I walked through the door, everyone was saying how great I look. Everyone was saying that the dress, that it was so interesting and so beautiful, and she looked so regal. And that night, Tracy Ellis Ross actually wore something from that collection as well. Here are these two, you know, goddesses, queens, if you will, in the same party, in the same collection. Point of the story, the moral of the story is that I'm always right, and whoever tells you different is always wrong. She was wearing custom Armani Privé. That was one of the things. COVID was such a traumatic, devastating time for the world. Looking back at it, it was a couple things that came out of it that end up being beautiful moments, right? One being the entire world was going through the exact same thing at the exact same time. And we all got a chance to just sit still. Second, like myself and her entire family got to literally be in that room so close to her when she won her first Emmy. And it was just so much love and joy and excitement, and we were all so proud, and we got to like run up and hug her and just wrap our arms around her and like surround her with love the entire night. And had it not been in lockdown, we wouldn't have shared that moment with her the way we did. It's one of my fondest moments of
Style Muse, my one and only fashion icon of them all, Law Roach, who has been my stylist since I was, what, 14,
13, 14 years old. We've been together for a long time.
And he's the only one I trust. So we are actually about to go through a few of our carpet moments.
Yeah, the good, the bad, and the...
And the good, I think
they're always good, they're always good. This is literally like maybe the second red carpet we did when we first got together, when we first started working.
It was cool because it was like a little short something underneath, and it was like kind of like see-through. It was still fun and young.
Yeah.
You can't really tell from this picture, but it was still fresh, and it was not too mature.
No.
You know.
It was a very nude moment before nude moments were really popular.
Okay, because that's what we do.
Princess.
This
okay,
is
so
Queen,
this is
honey.
Right, this is Warrior Princess.
Okay.
She was wearing Fausto Puglisi, one of our good friends. We're obsessed with him. And he created everything, the jewelry and the headpiece and the gown, and it was great. Like, it was very Warrior Princess. You were wearing Georgine, and the vibe for this was very Diana.
Because she wasn't she given like a special award
She was given an award that night. I don't think we knew that.
I don't even think we knew that either.
No,
I think it just kind of happened.
And I think this era is where we get most of our inspiration from. We're really inspired by the girls from the 70s, and this was a great representation of that. Cleopatra mixed with the Beatles. She's a hybrid. She's a hybrid. Yeah, this one, she was wearing DKNY and a lot of accessories.
A lot of accessories.
Yeah.
This was a good look, like hair or not, like this look, I felt it was perfect for the award show because it was so bright and colorful, but it was still mature, like it wasn't like kiddish.
Yeah, but it had a little sex appeal to it.
Exactly.
This is one of the most controversial looks that we have ever done.
Of all time.
One of the most talked about, and I thought it was just
the most simple.
Simple is the word. Simple, clean.
Super simple, clean, easy, fresh. This one, sparkles.
Sparkles.
That's all I think of is sparkles.
One of the most grown up, sexy-ish looks that we ever did. I thought it was very Broadway, very sparkle. You know, this is one of my favorite looks.
I love this. What do I call this? Pocahontas. Meets Cher. And I loved this.
This was one of my favorites.
This was one of my favorites of all time. No, Kids Choice Awards this year.
It's Elena Sergenko, and it's actually couture.
No, but I love this because, first of all, it fit perfectly. No alterations needed. It was meant to be.
And the bodice was really, really good. It looked like it's 3D,
so much
like
detail.
It's just standing out. Very talented, very beautiful.
If I could only remember looks for the rest of my life, I would go with this one because it was comfortable.
I'll tell you why. Yeah, because it was comfortable and it was kind of like wearing pajamas.
Last night's.
Yes.
Or is last night still this morning? Have you slept?
No.
You haven't slept?
I have not.
How did you manage doing it all?
I don't know. Just when you're in it, and you just do it.
Well, okay, let's talk about last night's looks. Zendaya had 2 on the red carpet, and then a third inside, a secret little third one. But let's talk about the red carpet.
Yeah.
How did you come up with these looks? Because they were spectacular.
Thank you. Well, the story behind all of them, I mean, both of those are, I was so inspired looking from the outside into this big, fantastic world of fashion, and John Galliano and what he did at Christian Dior in the late 90s and early 2000s was
brilliant.
Absolutely genius. And so it's always been a constant inspiration for me in my work. And when he said yes to make the dress, what we wanted to do is just pay homage to his work, past and present.
Right.
Yeah.
So The first look was from the Margiela collection
Correct.
by Galliano.
Correct. Which is the
inspired
present.
by his original Dior one.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you did
Love
your
that.
research.
I did my research, but I've been a Galliano fan for a very long time. Then we see you come back down at almost the end of the night, which is spectacular.
It was the end of the night. We closed the car.
And I see you're in a new look.
I was in
and
a
I'm
new
like,
look, yeah.
what is going on here?
Yeah,
Who is Law
yeah,
waiting
yeah.
for? And then out comes Zendaya.
Out comes Zendaya again.
In the second look.
Which
Now,
was John Galliano for Givenchy.
Right, so now
Yeah.
that was a vintage piece.
Yes, it was.
And did you find that at Lillian C?
I did.
You did?
I did, yes I did. With Rita and Michael. And it was such an incredible experience to go. They're such historians.
Right.
And I took Zendaya, I found the dress haphazardly and took Zendaya to show it to her, and we tried it on and fell in love with it, and she bought it.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
Oh.
she bought it.
Oh, we buy it, yes.
Wow, that's almost unheard of.
Yeah, well, not for us, you know,
Right.
because how we look at it is that we're really supporting small businesses.
Right.
And I think it's unfair to borrow things from people who use those clothes as their livelihood.
Right.
Yeah.
So how far in advance did you pick these gowns for the Met Gala?
Oh no, the first one was not in advance at all. John was on vacation when we asked. I couldn't really get in contact with him, so I called, you know, just one of my closest friends, Anna Wintour, and she gave John a call, and he said yes to making a dress. But he was still on vacation, so literally I said that I hadn't seen the dress on Friday, and I hadn't seen the dress, but
On Friday before the Met Gala, you
correct.
still hadn't seen it?
I hadn't seen the dress,
Wow.
but you know, when you're working with someone who's so talented and such a genius and such a master,
Right.
you kind of can go into situations, you know, and be confident that it'll be perfect.
Okay, so when
Yeah.
did you all do the first fitting?
Saturday.
Saturday. It probably fit like a glove for the most part, right?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, yeah,
Right.
everything was there. But again, he's such a artist. So there were a lot of tweaks and little things that he saw differently, and he had this beautiful story that he told us about who the girl was that was wearing the dress, and Zendaya being the incredible ingenue she is, she became that girl, and it was just absolutely perfect and magical and a dream come true for both of us.
You became that girl because also
Yeah.
hair and makeup
Yeah.
played into it. I mean, the
Yeah.
makeup on the first look,
Yeah.
it was like off the runway
Yeah.
kind of
It was,
gorgeous.
yeah.
And she posed like a supermodel. What I found very endearing is as she was going up the steps, she would giggle and she would laugh. And then that was the young Zendaya that we love
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this glorious gown.
She's really good at becoming whatever character we need to tell the story, because I think with our work we're just storytellers at the root of it all. Yeah.
Right. Tell me about when you're at the top of the staircase
Yeah.
and you need to now change Zendaya
Yes.
in a big old gown. How do you do
Yes.
that? What's the
Well,
secret?
there's no secret. Again, my old beautiful friend for many years, Anna Wintour. I called in another favor and said that we would like to get ready at the Met, and I told her the story of how we wanted to pay homage to John's work, and we told the people from the Met what our idea was and why we were doing it. It wasn't supposed to be a spectacle. It was
being around her. I looked an absolute mess. Everybody else had on black, and here I am with this like rusty orange like tracksuit. I don't know what I was thinking, but I also didn't think that I would, you take it for granted. She's sitting in front of a little computer screen, and I didn't know that it was capturing as much as it did, but still, wrong outfit, but right time, and I'll always remember that moment. So I got the call from Sam, creator and director of Euphoria, Sam Levinson. He asked me, this was all in like heavy lockdown. So I never got a chance to sit with him. Everything was done from Zoom and a bunch of conversations. It was great. It was challenging for that reason. I wasn't able to physically be in the room with her or around her. But it was also, I felt so creative, and for that look to come out and to get the type of love that it got was really incredible. I'm super proud of that, because I got to add costume designer, to my resume. And I think that dress will become iconic because I think that film is something that people will go and reference, 20, 30, 40 years from now. And for me to have a little small piece of that legacy, it makes me really proud. I've been actually dressing Tom for a few years now. I think Tom is the ultimate movie star, and he works and he promotes his film, and then he kind of disappears for a while, which is really great. He has still a mystique around him that people are still trying to figure out, I think, and what makes him so appealing to people. And before him and Zendaya's relationship was public, when you get to dress the two leads from a major movie, it's always a big accomplishment. It's a lot of work, but it's a big accomplishment. And Emma Watson wearing Alexander McQueen, our relationship is really new. I am a firm believer that the universe puts you in people's lives exactly at the moment you're supposed to be there. She said, would you consider working with me? I'm like, would you consider working with me? Emma is iconic on her own. She has a way of describing, the feeling of things that she likes. And I think I style from an emotional place, and I think she wears clothes from an emotional place. And she's also really a champion for trying to help fashion become more sustainable, and I think that's one of my biggest profiles. The easiest way to become or do something that's sustainable is to wear clothes that someone else has already worn. It's the easiest way. It's a no-brainer, right? Go to a thrift store, a consignment store, a vintage shop, and buy something that already has a life, and continue to give it a life and give it away to someone else, hand it down, or even resell it. So I think that, that really brought us closer. I've done SNL a few times. One thing I will tell you guys about Megan Thee Stallion that you might not know is that she is the nicest, sweetest, most patient person I think I've probably ever met. And Saturday Night Live is nerve-wracking. And when someone is that nice, it makes you want to work extra, extra hard for her. I think she did incredible. I think she looked incredible. The picture you saw was her walking into 30 Rock in a full PP pink Valentino look. Whew, that was a tough one. That night, Zendaya was being honored as CFDA's fashion icon. So we felt like that it had to be amazing, especially after Rihanna's look. Rihanna is kind of, and we know that we could never top Ree, but we wanted to be a close second. And I also wanted to be young, and we chose red because red is always, to me, is the color of power. Zendaya has that body and those abs, and why not? It was the night to really go for it. That look has become iconic, and I say it because the way you've created an iconic look is that people wear it on Halloween. It becomes a Halloween costume. So if you have never done anything or worn anything that has become a Halloween costume, you are not iconic. When it comes to American fashion, that is the top of the top. And for me to be the first ever stylist to be recognized, I'm overjoyed, and then I'm nervous because I have to give a speech in front of these people that I look up to and grew up wanting. And me coming from where I came from, like, most of these clothes weren't affordable, and now, like, these people know my name and I'm friends with some of them, and it's just the biggest thing of it is that I hope that I am an example that any and everything is possible. If you really stick to the core values that you're taught by whoever raised you, work really hard, be kind of.
To just be an homage of his work, and
right.
And we're talking about the Costume Institute of, the museum, and we're talking about Anna Wintour, one of the greatest editors of the greatest fashion magazine ever. And I think when they understood the story, they granted us permission to, have a room to get ready there, do the first look, go back and change, and come back out, and then go back and do the third look, which, if you weren't there, you probably didn't see it.
You didn't see it until today when it's all over the place. So is it stressful for you? Do you get nervous still at this point?
No, I don't really get nervous.
Right.
I don't really get nervous because I really believe that things happen exactly when they're supposed to happen and how they're supposed to happen. So I don't really get nervous. No.
Okay. Anything that we didn't see that happened behind the scenes? that you could tell us?
I mean, it's just funny because she's already a tall girl, so she's 5'10", and she had on 6-inch heels, so that makes her what, 5? So then she had another hat that was about 6 inches.
Right.
So she was really, really tall, and we're going through these kind of tunnels of the Met, and I was just behind her, and every time I would say, hat, and she'll dip, and she'll come back up, and she'll walk in, and I'm like, hat, you know. And so then she would just do a little tilt and get through the walkway, and yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of hats, the
Yes.
second hat and the second look was
Yes.
from an Alexander McQueen collection.
Yes, 2007.
Wow.
By Philip Tracy, yeah.
I love that you combine these two looks because
Yeah.
that entire outfit, first of all, was never worn before,
Yeah.
except on the runway by Veronica Webb, the
Veronica
Super
Webb.
Monica.
Wow.
Oh, I know my
Oh,
fashion,
God.
yeah. But then you decided to pair it with a
Yeah.
Lee McQueen hat.
I think the hat was perfect, and the upside down rose is actually a hat made by Philip Tracy, and so I called Philip, and I have all these important friends, darling. I called Philip, and I just asked, permission to wear something from the archive, and he sent me 4 hats, and he actually sent 2 from London to New York for us to try. I thought that one was so perfect.
Right. It was perfection.
For the theme, yeah.
Were there any other looks last night that also caught your eye?
Well, I think there were a lot of great looks, but what was so special for me is Ariana Grande's performance. Because I worked with Ariana Grande for many years, and then she also brought out Cynthia Erivo, and those voices combined, it was emotional. Everybody was on there dancing on their feet and clapping, and it was kind of hard to get people out of their seats at the Met, and it was actually spectacular. And she also was wearing Galliano for Margiela. Yeah.
I know, she looked fantastic,
Yeah.
totally fantastic. Internet is abuzz
Yeah.
about a mystery woman on the Met Gala who was in a gorgeous butterfly gown, Mona Patel,
Yes.
that you worked with.
Yes, I did.
Tell
yes.
me about her and this gorgeous
Yes.
gown.
So the gown was Iris Verherpen. It was custom. I met Mona in Mumbai, and we had a connection. And she's also part of the Vogue 100. And she asked me to do it in the sweetest way. And I really love India. And how she got me is that, there would be a collaboration between Iris and one of the houses that do the embellishments in India.
And all by hand.
All by hand,
I mean,
yeah.
the craftsmanship.
And so we went back to Mumbai, and we watched them embroider the panels that Iris had made for the dress, and the mixing of both those worlds and those cultures was really intriguing to me. So when she laid it that was the plan, I was like, okay, I'm in.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and butterflies on the
Yeah.
sleeves was
Yeah.
extraordinary.
It was Casey. I think Casey's his name, and he's just this artist that's a friend of hers.
Right.
That created these arm pieces, and it was actually lilies that were opening and
lilies,
closing.
yeah.
And it was beautiful. It was just like jewelry almost, but
Right.
living jewelry.